The element I feel will matter the most to me is my identity as a Singaporean. As all of us are Singaporean, I hope through this common identity, we'll be able to reach a common ground and there's something in common to talk about. I hope this will ease some of the awkwardness and shyness of my flatmates that come with the first few interactions. The element I feel with the most impact on my flatmates is my identity as a Buddhist. As a person of religion, I'm bound to have certain superstitions and practices that follow with it. I hope these practices do not affect my flatmates, and through these small practices, give them an insight into my religion. Something I look forward to is the diversity of our racial and religious backgrounds. As we are all from different races and religion, I hope through this residential stay, I can better understand their heritage and appreciate their religion. I also hope to learn how their religion impacts their daily life, much like how my religion defines certain steps I practice daily. One concern I have is the willingness of my flatmates to open up and share more about their religious identity, and even explain the rationale behind certain practices in their religion. I hope that everyone is friendly and open minded, as I'm a bit shy and it's difficult for me to open up easily.
Right, which identity matter most during my residential stay is being sociable, because by being sociable you allow yourself to be approachable towards your roommates, and also you just be easier to get things done, and you just make the environment overall positive. And which identity most impacted our group apartment is being flexible, because we have uh one Muslim friend, Ibnu. He wakes up slightly earlier than all of us, and his alarm sometimes, I think, in my opinion, is quite loud, so it will wake us all up. And I think that's just something you just have to adapt and get used to it. I'm looking forward to getting to know my roommates a little bit better, like more deeper than the surface level. However, I just hope that I don't ask sensitive questions, just like to get them, like hope to not irritate them. So yeah.
Question 1. I feel that my acquired identity of being a friendly and welcoming person will matter the most during the stay, as I feel that being friendly and welcoming will help build better rapport and friendlier relations between my flatmates and myself. Question 2. I feel that my acquired identity of being a national athlete will have the most impact on my flatmates, as I have to juggle work as well as to go for national training. My flatmates will have to accommodate my absence during the day, as I will only be back in the evenings. Question 3. I'm looking forward to learning what my flatmates are like, interests, and background. I find it interesting to see what type of music people listen to, as we all have all different tastes and varying ideals. All in all, I want to have an eventful stay with my flatmates. Question 4. My concerns are that normally I do not initiate conversation with new people, and I find that I'm too shy around new people, as well as whether they will interact with me during the stay, as I can be awkward at times.
First, the identity that matters the most to me is being a social ambivert. My identity of being an ambivert makes me introverted sometimes, and during those times, I prefer to have time being left alone and not occasionally disturbed by my flatmates. Second, the identity that might have impact my group is my acquired identity of being a Muslim. So because the residential stay is during the fasting month, it worries me as I have to wake up early in the morning and I might have to disturb some of my flatmates' sleep and cause unwanted disputes. So third, I'm looking forward to have a kind and welcoming flatmates that help to ease my stay in the foreign apartment. Fourth, my concerns about my interaction with my flatmates is that I detest roommates that set up social borders and avoid interaction, as it may cause underlying unrelieved tension between each other. So I hope that none of my roommates form these social borders.
So the identity I felt was the most different was my identity as a student. So during our study sessions together, I realized that I had a different studying style compared to the rest, as I studied for short periods of time and took frequent breaks, while the rest studied longer while taking longer but less frequent breaks. This led me to realize even though there's a small difference between us in the way we study, it actually defines how different we are as individuals. So the element I felt caused something similar to a conflict was my identity as a Buddhist, which is my religion. As one of my roommates was Muslim, he had to wake up early to eat his breakfast before he began fasting. I remember that was the first morning when I woke up to some noise in the kitchen and found out he was preparing his breakfast. At that point in time, I realized that I overlooked our lifestyle that Muslims had to go through during this fasting period, and it gave me an eye-opening experience to the discipline that they have to go do it every day for a month. I asked him later about it the day and he apologized. However, I felt that it was unnecessary as this was something he had to go through every day and causing a bit of noise while preparing food was normal.
Question 1. One of the elements that is different from the rest of my flatmates is that I come from different course from them. At first I felt that would make a big difference as they already knew each other before the stay, but as the days progressed, it did not seem as a big difference as we still managed to talk to each other and bond. Question 2. The element of being too kanchiong and too kiasu caused conflict on the first morning, as I set too many alarms the previous night, overlooking that I was staying with other people. So on the first morning, there was a melody of alarms ringing, waking up people that caused conflict between one another. Question 3. We settled the conflict by standardizing the timing that we were going to wake up, thinking not only for ourselves but for others as well. We managed to settle the situation with clear communication, understanding, as well as compromising for one another.
My identity that is very different from my members are the identity of being an ambivert. Again, because there are times when I prefer not to be disturbed and inside my room to have my own space, but there are also times when I can openly interact with them and be very casual and enjoy their conversations. So an element of my identity that may cause conflict is my lack of meticulousness. Like after my Saho breakfast of KFC chicken, I actually dispose the trash into the rubbish chute. And however, the next morning, Hartley found out that from the rubbish chute, that the trash was still intact inside, and as it was stuck on the cover of the rubbish chute. So, how did we manage, or how did he manage and I manage? He confided me about it, and so he reminded me, or he informed me to push down the rubbish so it will not stick on the rubbish chute.
Right, which identity that was most different from my roommates is the fact that I listen to reggae music, like listen to Bob Marley while showering, and none of my roommates do that. And yeah, that was something that's very different. Right. And any conflicts caused, yes. My friend Ibnu, there was one time he ate biryani and he didn't dispose it in the dustbin. Instead, he left it beside the dustbin because the dustbin was full. So, and when I saw it, I was like, I was a bit shocked because it can attract insects and cockroaches. So, yeah, and I told him, like, instead of leaving it outside the dustbin, why not you throw it in the rubbish chute instead? And yeah, and how we resolved it was I told him that, next time if you see it's full, just throw it in the chute or take the initiative to empty the dustbin and just put the biryani inside. So, yeah, that was how we managed it.
So it's been a long 4 days and we've finally come to the end of our residential stay. Tomorrow we'll be checking out already. So we just want to get our final thoughts and just get a feel how our experiences are. So let's start with Joseph.
Yeah. So during my first day here, I was actually quite scared and I didn't know any of these people in school. I don't really see them all that often. So but now coming from this day, I get to know them more. Now we can say we're friends because I think we are. So I learned quite a lot from them, their work ethic and stuff. I see them being so hardworking and stuff. So it's very inspiring for me to become hardworking as well. Yeah.
For me, because it's the first time where 4 different people from different races and religions actually come together to actually interact in such a close environment for the last 4 days. Yeah, so actually it's been a very eye-opening experience for me, and I definitely hit my goal of wanting to have a more bigger or a more better experience of the different religions that we have in Singapore. So I really learned a lot, and it really shows how racial harmony is maintained in Singapore through the CMIO. Yeah. So
yeah, thank you. So I've learned a lot from both of you. I mean, I've known Hartley much better because we are classmates in the same science course. But you, Joseph and Jared, I don't really know you guys. And Jared, he wasn't really attending most of the classes. So I usually thought, Joseph, sorry, it's Joseph. So he usually never attend most of the classes, so I thought he would be that kind of guy that is carefree, you know, and he will be just ignorant of his studies and all. But when I come to know him better, I see him study more diligently and all. He inspires me, motivates me, you know, push me on to study harder. And I thought Jared would be like that gumbo guy because he looks like it, man. Look at the big muscles. Yeah, he looks like it. So yeah, I've learned a lot that he's actually much more open-minded. He's much more nicer, and he's a very kind-hearted person, and I can relate to him really well with PUBG.
Thank you. Right. Over the past 4 days, to start off, I think we actually know like Joseph and Jared. I know Blue because like what he says, I'm his classmate, and yeah, for the both of them, I didn't actually know them. I only see them in class, but for Jared, I've seen him a few times, but for Joseph, I only saw him like once or twice. And yeah, after spending like these past 4 days together and like having like late night snacks together and sharing our deeper thoughts on many issues of in Singapore, I think we have grown deeper in our friendship, and also we can learn many things from each other, and I've learned many things from them as well. And also this stay also what I feel teaches us to look out for each other and to care for one another. Yeah.
So
yes.
So with that, we've come to the end of our session. Thank you. Bye.